With the price of the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition at just $400, it is a huge deal. But people should not forget the $300 Xbox Series S, which also shook the console market. Now, we want to do a comparison video between these two budget versions of their own company's flagship consoles because I feel like they will appease to a wide audience. So, in this video, we're going to be breaking down price, specs, value, and games to really see which one of these consoles come out on top. After that, I'll give you my honest opinion on which one I would get and what I would suggest for some people in the world. Let's get started. Now, let's start with one of the easiest topics, price. Now, a lot of people will say, if this console has a better value, why does price matter? Well, the price matters because they're still in the hundreds of dollars. So for people, if they just have $300 to spare, then the Xbox Series S would be the obvious choice for them. So, pretty obviously, the Xbox Series S wins the price with a $100 cheaper price tag than the PS5 Digital Edition. Now, another simple category in this comparison is specs, because the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition completely annihilates the Xbox Series S in this category. Now, the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is literally the PlayStation 5 just without the disc. It can still go that consistent 4K, 120 frames per second with ray tracing and the super fast SSD and pretty much everything that you love about the PlayStation 5. Whereas the Xbox Series S can max out at only 1440p. However, it does have 4K upscaling for some games, which means you might get some better resolutions than that. But still, it'll still not have that consistent 120 frames per second, even though it can max out at that at some points. But nevertheless, if you take an average of around 60 to 90 frames per second, and then you also take an average of 1080 to 1440p, it's not impressive compared to the 4K 120 frames per second you would be getting on the Xbox Series X, PS5, and the PS5 Digital Edition. Now, another thing is that the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is much bigger than the Xbox Series S. I wanted to mention it here because, I don't know, maybe it could be counted as a kind of spec, but I feel like that's not that big, since if there's a better console, then I don't think you would really care about the size. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, the games between these two consoles, I feel like is hard, but probably not too hard. Actually, it might not be that hard. The PlayStation 5, I think, just has a better collection of exclusives compared to Xbox. Even with Xbox buying Bethesda, I don't think it can produce as many games and as many exclusives as the amount that Sony has over Xbox as of now. So I'm going to give games to PlayStation just because it has more exclusives, and that just means a better experience. Also, a lot of the games you can play on Xbox, you can also play on PC, so there's that. So if you're trying to play the maximum amount of games, I would say go PlayStation. Now, there is also Gamepass, but I'm going to bring that up later in the value section, which is actually starting like right now. Now, value, I feel like it's hard because the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition just being like a full flagship console basically for just $400 is like amazing value. But I feel like that the Xbox Series S just takes this one here because of Xbox All Access. Getting an Xbox for $25, including Xbox Live, including Game Pass, including EA Play, pretty much Game Pass Ultimate, you're actually only paying around $250 for the Xbox console. Technically, that's giving you a deal on the console itself. So I think that this value goes to Xbox just because of Game Pass, because of All Access, the low price, and the fact you can play these new games, how you can still get good resolutions and good frame rates. It's not terrible And yeah, also, just a side note, yes, their Xbox has Game Pass, and some people would argue PlayStation Plus, but I feel like just the library of Game Pass, the fact that it also includes EA Play now and everything, I feel like Game Pass is, as of now, the better streaming service for games. Probably the best one as of now. So, yes, that is my roundup of why you should get the Xbox Series S or why you should get the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. And now I'm just going to give you my specific thoughts. So for me, the Xbox Series S, just because I never really had a PlayStation, so I'm not really used to those exclusives, and I don't want to spend a ton of money. I want to spend the least amount of money possible, but still getting a good bang for my buck. I still want to be able to play the next generation games and everything, so that's why I would get the Xbox Series S. But if you're somebody that games actually a lot and you want to play the next generation games, but you want to play them in 4K at 125 frames per second at the best possible way you can, you want to try out new games, exclusive games, have the most fun with your console, then I would say PlayStation 5 Digital Edition is the way to go. So depending on who you are, you could go either way. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Anyway, IGN has a poll that shows a ton of people are going to go for the normal PlayStation 5 anyway. So maybe I should make a video on why people would go for the PlayStation 5 instead of any of these other consoles. Leave a like or a comment if you want me to or you don't want me to. That's it for today's video. Goodbye, and I hope you have a good day.